Shalom and welcome to Yeshiva B'nai Noach. I'm Tom Averna. This is the Beginning Biblical Hebrew course. As we continue taking a look now at chapter 14, Adjectives and Demonstratives. This is the review for that chapter. We move into another chapter here on the First Hebrew Primer, 3rd edition, and as always, please make sure you have your textbook from the First Hebrew Primer available to you. We'll take a look now at what is in that textbook. But first of all, let's take a look at the oral review. As always, I will read the Hebrew as practice. You should be reading it either after me or before me or both, or however is easiest for you to do. And then we aren't going to do the translations, but if you need to do that in either way, also recognize that Quizlet is a resource available to you. The link is in the description section. And that in the Quizlet review of the oral review, there will be the translation that you can pull from there, all right? As well as also I'll be reading the Hebrew from that as well. So let's start. Number 1. Lifnei yom yesh laila. Lifnei yom haya laila. Lifnei yom yehyeh laila. Number 2. Bein he harim uvein hayam ein midbar. Bein hayam uvein ha'ir lo haya midbar. Bein ha'etzim uvein ha'sha'arim lo yeye midbar. Number 3. Ma shmot b'nei David. Ele shmot b'nei David, Avraham v'Sara. Mi avi Avraham v'Sara, David hu ha'av. Number 4. Haruach al panei ha'adama halayla. Ein ruach al panei hayam halayla. Lo yeye ruach al panei hayam hayom. Number 5. David melech be'eretz Mitzrayim. David malach Berushalayim. David yimloch leolam va'ed. David malach al ha'am. David haya melech sham. Number 6. Zot ha'em v'zeh ha'av. Hayiti habat v'ata hayita havein. Lo eya ha'isha v'lo tiyeh ha'ish. Number 7. Hine anachnu beveit lechem belayla. Hine yeshavnu v'gam achalnu beveit lechem belayla. Hine neshev v'hine nochal belayla. 8. Kol Moshe min hahar. Shematem et kol Moshe min hahar. Tishmeu et kol Moshe min haTorah. 9. Mi avar ha'hara halach midbara v'az ala ha'shemaima. Bnei Yisrael avru ha'hara halchu midbara v'az lo alu el Yerushalayim. 10. Mi yizkor et ha-devarim yeda et ha-mishpat v'gam yishmor et ha-Torah. Anachnu nizkor et ha-devarim neda et ha-mishpat v'gam nishmor et ha-Torah ad olam. Our vocabulary for this chapter, mostly giving you adjectives, since that is the subject of the chapter. Echad, one or single. Gadol, big or great. Zachin, old. Chacham, wise. Tov, good. Yosef, Joseph. Leah, Leah. Me'od, very. Saviv, around or roundabout, these two both being adverbs. Rav, many, much, a lot of. Again, that's Rav. And then Ra, bad or evil. And these two can get very confusing, so notice the difference. The ayin concludes bad or evil, and the vet is Rav, many, much, a lot of. And then last, Tachat, which is under or instead of. So, basic grammar here, the adjective word used to describe or modify a noun. In Hebrew, an adjective will always follow a noun. Adjectives must always match the noun they modify in gender and number, so there's 4 forms. Adjectives and noun together are known as an adjective phrase. So again, if the first part of the phrase, if the noun part of the phrase is masculine singular, the adjective is going to be masculine singular. If it is feminine singular, the adjective will be feminine singular. If it is masculine plural, the adjective will be masculine plural. And if it is feminine plural, the adjective will be feminine plural. So except in the cases of irregular nouns, which there are a few of, and you'll get to know them, but except in those cases, you're essentially going to have 2 words that rhyme or that sound alike. So banim tovim, banot tovot, ben tov, bat tova. Of course, that's in the plural as they'll rhyme. In the singular, not so much. Okay? But that's one way to check yourself as you're doing your adjectives. So 4 forms of adjectives: masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, and feminine plural. This is on page 128 of your textbook. And you have a list of adjectives and their 4 forms. Note, again, the only one that is a little unusual is echad, which doesn't have a plural form, which makes sense because the meaning is one. So, echad and achat are the 2 forms of the adjective one. But big, gadol, old, zakein, wise, chacham, tov, good, rav, many, and ra, bad, all have their subsequent different forms. Gadol, gadolah, gadolim, gadolot. Zakein, zakena, zakenim, zakenot. Chacham, chachama, chachamim, chachamot. Tov, tova, tovim, tovot. Rav, rabah, rabim, rabot. And ra, ra'ah, ra'im, ra'ot. So again, you're going to notice between many and bad the difference in the second letter here. And just be careful you don't get that confused when you're translating sentences. The 4 forms of adjectives, again, adjectives are never irregular, and this is important. So even if av is irregular, avot in the plural, it's still going to be tovim for the adjective. It's still going to have the im ending. Okay, ir, gedolah, a big city. Arim, again, irregular, it's still going to be gedolot in the adjective form. Feminine, plural, big cities. Okay, if a noun is regular, the adjective will rhyme in all forms but the masculine singular. So you have devar tov, you have devarim tovim, mishpacha tova, mishpachot tovot. Now, when adding the hey, the definite article, when a Hebrew adjective is used to describe a definite noun, the adjective must have the definite article hey attached to the beginning of the word. The hey attached to the adjective is not translated. So again, you're just looking to match the adjective with the noun it modifies. So if the noun it modifies is definite, has the ha in front of it, you'll need the ha in front of the adjective as well. All right? So, habayit hagadol, the big house. Hamishpacha hatova, the good family. Ha'av he-chacham, the wise father. Ha'batim hagedolim, the big houses. Hamishpachot ha-tovot, the good families. And ha'avot ha-chachamim, the wise fathers. Again, im ending, even though the noun is irregular. So if a noun is naturally definite, as with the name of a person, place, or its adjective, person or place, its adjective must also take the hey. So again, there wouldn't be a hey in front of David, but because it is definite, you need the hey in front of the adjective. So David hazaken, Mitzrayim ha-gedolah. Now, a little bit different when we deal with noun sentences. Remember, noun sentences are complete sentences, but there's no verb showing. It is always the to be verb in the present tense. So, you learn in a Hebrew noun sentence must have at least one noun and any number of other words, but no apparent verb. A noun sentence is often composed of a noun and an adjective. So, if we read Ha'ish Zakein, the man is old. All right? So you might look at this and say, all right, is this a sentence or is this an adjective phrase? And we'll learn a little bit more about the difference in just a moment. But in this case, then you know you have a sentence because there's a period there in our translation books. But in this case, you know that you're going to need a verb. So, Ha'ish, the man, is, Zakein, is old. Ha'em tova, the mother is good. Ha'banim, chachamim, the sons are wise. Right. So, it's a reflexive. It's still an adjective. It still defines the noun, but it's also acting as the object of the noun in this case. Okay? So, how do you tell the difference? An adjective phrase. If both are definite, then the adjective must follow the noun in the phrase. If both are definite, then the adjective must follow the noun, if this is an adjective phrase. So, habayit hagadol is the big house, not the house is big. The old woman, ha'isha ha'zechena, okay, not the woman is old, because the adjective follows it, and because it is also with the definite marker, that this is really the big clue that tells you that you don't have a noun sentence, but you have an adjective phrase. Ha'ish hatov, the good man. So, a noun sentence, if a noun is definite but the adjective is indefinite, that is your big clue that you have a noun sentence. Adjectives in this case can be before or after a noun. Forgive the misspellings here. Can be before or after a noun. So, gadol habayit, the house is big. Okay? It's not the big house because there's no ha in front of gadol. So it has to be the house is big. Habayit gadol is also the house is big. Again, there's no definite marker in front of the adjective. So that is your huge clue when this happens. Okay? Zekena ha'isha. The woman is old. Ha'isha zekena. The woman is old. Same thing. No hey in front of the adjective. That's your clue. Ha'ish tov, or tov ha'ish, the man is good. Now, here's where it gets tricky. If both are indefinite, then there's no way to tell other than context. So bayit gadol could be a house is big, or it could be a big house. You just have to look at the context. Isha zakena, a woman is old or an old woman. Ish tov, a man is good or a good man. So this is where it gets a little tricky. You just have to look for context, but always double check yourself. So if two things, if there's a hey in front of one or the other of these, then that is a big clue that it can't be an adjective phrase. Okay? If the adjective precedes the noun, it cannot be an adjective phrase. So those are two clues that you can get, but otherwise you have to look at context to figure it out. Now the other thing an adjective can be is a noun. Again, just like English. An adjective can stand alone and be used as a noun. It is then translated as the blank one, or the one, or the blank, I should say. So examples of this would be hu hatov. He is the good. Doesn't make sense. So he is the good one. Zekenim ba'ir. Older ones are in the city. Again, context. You know that this is not an adjective phrase because the adjective precedes the noun, and also you don't have a definite article marker in front of it, whereas the noun is definite. So the city, okay, in the city rather, ba'ir, in the city. So here's zakena, old, doesn't make sense. Old one, olds, plural especially, doesn't make sense. So older ones or elders are in the city. Hey chacham, katav, the wise one wrote. The wise one wrote. And there's a note from your book on this one. The definite article can also be added to an adjective to express the superlative. So hu hatov, he is the, not good, but he is the best. So you take the superlative form of good, better, best, and he is the best. So just make a note of that the hey, when it's used in front of the adjective in a noun sentence, makes this in the superlative form of that adjective. Okay. So adjectives and word pairs, another thing to take note of. Nouns that are joined together in a word pair are never separated. Never separated. Important to remember. So, what do you do with an adjective? Adjectives, whether they're describing the first or second noun, are added after the word pair. You can usually tell which noun the adjective describes by noticing which noun the adjective matches. Usually, not always. But the bottom line is you would never put the adjective, so in this case, Beit Sarah Hagadol. Okay? So, house of Sarah is your phrase. So is it the house of the big Sarah or the big house of Sarah? Well, in this case, it's easy because Hagadol is in the masculine singular form, as is Beit. So it's the big house of Sarah. Beit Sarah Hagedolah. Well, now this is in the feminine form. So it has to match the feminine noun. So the house of Big Sarah, of Big Sarah. Okay. Malchei ha'ir hara'ah. Malchei, the kings of the city. Okay, kings is masculine, city is feminine. Your adjective is feminine, ra'ah. So you know it's the kings of the evil city. But malchei ha'ir ha'ra'im, this is masculine, plural, as is this. So it's easy if you can, if you're, if you don't have, if both of these end up being the same gender and number, then you have a problem. But otherwise, this is easy. Always match or try to match your adjective with whichever noun in the adjective phrase it matches. Okay? And that's how you would tell if it's going to be easy to tell. Anshe haaretz hatovim. Anshe is the men of the land. The men of the land. Hatovim, masculine plural, feminine singular. So this would be the good men of the land. Anshe haaretz hatova, feminine singular, feminine singular. So the men of the good land. All right, so again, you're just, it takes some time. You have to look at it. You have to think things through sometimes. When it's easy, all you're doing is matching your adjective with whichever noun it matches in the word pair. Okay? If it's not easy, then you're going to have to do some figuring out based on context, or take your best guess as whichever works best for that. Okay? Now, there are some cases when the adjective can refer to either the first or the second noun. That is where you need to work with context. So, b'nei ha'amim hatovim. Well, b'nei is masculine plural. Amim is masculine plural. And the adjective is masculine plural. So you don't know. It could be the sons of the good nations, or the good sons of the nations. Could be either one. You have to look at the context, or take your best guess. So now the word meod. In English, the word very comes before the adjective it describes. In Hebrew, the word meod, very, comes after the adjective it describes. And again, there's a note here, 27, which says, although this demonstrative usually means very, it can also represent the noun power or muchness. Ad meod can mean exceedingly, or, again, very, or still very, means exceedingly. So the examples they give: Chacham meod, very wise. Gadol meod, very great. Meod does not have to appear directly after the adjective in Hebrew senses. Okay, so it has to come after the adjective, but it doesn't have to come immediately after. So again, that can throw you. Gadol ha'ish me'od or ha'ish gadol me'od both mean the man is very great. The man is very great. Okay, still follows the adjective, but not immediately. Doesn't have to. This and these. All right, important in terms of recognizing Noun sentences, but you've already learned the word ze and zot, masculine this, feminine this, and ele, masculine or feminine, these, and these are called demonstratives. Pointing out something, demonstrating, showing something. This is the man. These are the words. Okay, so demonstratives can be used as adjectives with definite nouns. They then have the definite article he attached. And this also applies to above demonstratives, is what that note is saying. So, ha'ish hazeh halach baita, this man, hazeh ha'ish, this man went towards the house. Okay, or ha-mishpacha hazot teshev ba'ir, this family, feminine, masculine, but this family will settle in the city. Hadevarim ha'ele min ha'torah, these ha'ele, these words are from the Torah. The words ha-hu and ha-he, so the he and the she should be translated as that. Okay, again, the he and the she don't make sense. It's an idiom and it's translated as that. The word ha-hu is used with masculine nouns, and the word ha-he is used with feminine nouns. Obviously, that should make sense because hu is masculine, he is feminine. He and she. So, Zacharnu et hayom ha-hu. We remembered that day. HaKohen ha-hu amar devarim rabim. So that priest said many words. Habat ha-hi bat ra'ah, that daughter is a bad daughter. Hahem, again, singular. Haim is they, normally. So this is the they. So it's going to be plural. It should be translated as those. So that refers to one thing. Those refer to many things. So the word hahem is those as in translation. Ha'eved yada et ha'anashim hahem. So the servant knew the people, those people. Obviously, you don't translate the because this makes it definite here. Bayamim hahem halachnu me'eretz Mitzrayim. In those days, we walked from the land of Egypt. So hahem, those. So zot, zot and ze is this, and hu, ha-hu, and ha-he is that. So if you want to remember them together, this and that, and then Ele is these, and hahem is those. Okay? Those are your demonstratives. If a noun is described by both an adjective and a demonstrative, the demonstrative follows the adjective. So it's always going to be adjective first and then demonstrative. So, ha'ish hazaken hazeh, this old man. An inseparable preposition is always attached to the noun, and the adjective or demonstrative follows. So, la anashim hahem, to those men. Babayit hazeh, in this house. So you're always going to translate your inseparable preposition first, then add the demonstrative to the noun. So the use of the preposition mean for comparisons. In English, when we're comparing one thing to another, we add er to the adjective. The house is bigger than the tent. Naomi is older than Sarah, so we add both the er and the word then in English. In Hebrew, comparisons are formed by using the preposition mean, or, of course, mean can also be the single letter, mem, with me or may, meaning from, with any adjective. So the house is big from the tent is the literal translation of Habayit Gadol Min Ohel. The house is big from the tent. But in English it would be the house is bigger than the tent. So you have to see the adjective with the mem, with the mean. Okay, and that mean can be attached as just a single mem, but that still tells you that you've got a comparison here. And the note here says, in addition to being used to mean from or to make a comparison, min can also mean some of or to as well. So just be aware that there are some alternate translations. So, for instance, here we have Yatsu min ha'am. So some of the people went out, or kashe me ha'am, too harsh for the people. So you're going to use this doing double duty. I don't think you're going to run into this in any of the exercises that we have here, but we'll see. But just make note of that. Okay, so just now a note about translations. If it doesn't make sense, try and think of how you could restate it without actually adding words that aren't there. Sometimes you have to do that too. But for the most part, you just want to have it make sense. So Naomi is old from Sarah. Naomi is older than Sarah, just because, again, know that in English we add the er and the word than when we're making a comparison. So the sons are big from the fathers. The sons are bigger than the fathers. So you could actually see this min or the mem as adding the word than in there. The sons are bigger than the fathers. Okay? So it's just some different ways to work with translations. All right, so that's it. That's our look on adjectives and demonstratives. Again, another misspelling. Oh well. Um, it's not going to change anything. At any rate, be aware of the rules. Also note, please, that the Chapter 14 review is up on Google Docs. The link for that is in the directions. And there are other things that you can find on Google Docs, probably, that you are welcome to make copies of and use for study purposes. So all of that, as well as Quizlet, is available to you. Be sure and use it. It's there. It's your resource. Use it or don't, but it's your choice. But it's some of these resources can be very helpful. So add that to your working study time, and I think you'll come out ahead of it. But otherwise, take a look at your textbook, review, go over what we've talked about. We will spend some time in the next video then working on the exercises for Chapter 14. But make sure you're familiar with the adjectives in the vocabulary and the adjective and demonstrative rules that we've given you here in the review. So that's a look at Chapter 14, Adjectives and Demonstratives Review on Yeshiva B'nai Noach. I'm Tom Averna. Shalom.